Okay, today's project is this Mitsubishi Gallant 1996. The valve cover is leaking. Bad. Really bad. So, normally what you do is you clean everything, then you take the valve cover off, you re-clean it, put everything on fresh. I cannot clean everything today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the valve cover off, clean it, clean the surface, and then over the weekend I'll clean everything. We'll service the battery, go through the car. Okay, what did we get for the car? We got this. We got a Velcro gasket for the valve cover. Okay, we got a Hella coolant temperature switch, which goes right here. Now this car has two switches. It has one here and one here, both coolant temperature switches, so you have to know what you're dealing with. This one is a single wire. The car has to be at X amount of degrees, and it allows the AC to kick on. Okay, this one right here basically measures the engine coolant temperature, and that goes to the ECU and controls good things like fast idle, mixture, a series of things. It works the gauge. Well, that's I stand corrected on that. On a Mitsubishi, the computer reads the sensor, and then the voltmeter or the temperature gauge is just a byproduct of what the ECU says. Okay, so this isn't directly connected to the gauge. So with that, we're going to screw that in also, because that thing's going wacky. It'll go from normal to cold. Got an air filter. There's a reason we got that, but whatever, it's all the same. It's almost like a K&N Jobby. Junior got this thing on clearance for under $2. He got this on clearance for like $3. This was $1 and change, a Denso oil filter. And on a Mitsubishi, you always make sure. I'm ripping the box. Obviously we're not doing it today. This we're doing Saturday. Give it a complete oil change. Then go through the car on Saturday. You always make sure it's got the bypass valve in there. Mitsubishis do not have bypass valves. And if you put a filter on there, like Lube used to do back in the olden days, it doesn't have the bypass valve. When the winter comes, the oil can't get through there fast enough. Usually what locks up first is the cam. So these two, well, not this. This item's going to go in the car. This item we're going to work on, and we'll put this in also. So, also got some parts for the other Mitsu. So with that, basic hand tools. This is all we're using. Not even getting into the big toolbox. Well, I will to get a bigger extension. And basically, what we're going to do is, we are going to take the sparkle wires off the loom. I know it's a little dark. We are going to, you rock the plug wire, and then you pull it out. Never just pull on it, because you want to crack it free from the plug first. If it doesn't crack free from the plug, you're going to wind up tearing it. There you go. These can all go to the side. They're all in order. Okay, we're going to take off the accelerator cable. And that you can just take and stick it there. I'm trying to do this and stay upright. You can put it back behind the reservoir. Okay. You're going to take off your breather hose. You are going to take out the PCV or the hose, which is hard as a rock. So we're about to determine where we're going to take that off. Okay. Then it's 6 bolts, 10 millimeters. And the valve cover comes off. Okay, sounds simple enough. Let me work on that hose, decide if there's going to be a major problem. I would rather replace the hose right now than try and get this grommet. Well, I forgot to mention, the first thing you check is make sure you got the right parts. I know these are right. Okay. I turned the PCV to the side, there, rocked it, it's right there. I took out the 6 bolts. They're right there. Usually you could just grip them right here, pull them, but there you go. Let's see what we got. show you the problem in a second. Let's look at the overall condition of the engine. I'd have to look. I think we're pushing about 160 on this engine. I'd say that's pretty clean. There's always going to be something on top of the valve cover, but fudge-wise, I'd say you're pretty good. Now you can see the way Mitsu does it. It's 4 valves per cylinder, but it's 1 rock rum for the exhaust with 2 lash adjusters, and then 2 individual rock rums on the intake. And they just run the cam down the center, and at the end of the cam is your distributor. Pretty simple. Pretty simple, pretty effective. Okay. So let me turn off the radio. Okay. This gasket. Okay, let's see. Let's get this right. Okay, this is the inner part of the gasket. If you look at the gasket's flat here, but it's got a raised little ridge. I'll show you where that goes in a minute. So this is the side that you're going to see. Okay, now the problem is this gasket's on there so long. Not only is it hard as a rock, it's below the surface of the pieces of metal. And look how bad it was leaking. So that's the back side of the engine. That's the front side, the side. And it was also leaking in the front cover. That's why when someone tells you that you need a cam seal or a crank seal, you better be sure first. If they say you need a cam and crank seal and a valve cover gasket, I would do the valve cover gasket first. They do not overlap. They do not overlap in any labor time. Okay? See if your oil leak goes away. Now truthfully, you're not supposed to clean this and put it in the street. I'm going to bring it where I'm allowed to clean it. So with that, the amount of cleaning we're going to do today is pretty much I'm going to get a little bit of cleaning and wipe it with a rag, not a paper towel, and make sure the surface is dry. And there's a reason. That gasket has to be crushed up into the valve cover, and if this is oily, it can roll to one side and pop out, which it does do. So you want this dry so it could grip onto it, in so many words. So you can see the oil running right down, right down the front cover. See right there? Is the belt saturated? No, the belt is not. So, okay, with that, either this is going to come out in one piece, or it might break in 100 chunks. But you don't want to distort the valve cover, because once this gets distorted, this will rock. It's not going to fit as tight in there, and when you go to put it down, it's going to rock to one side and cause a leak. So let's see what it's going to take to get it out. Okay guys, this is what's left. Those are the spark plug seals, which are hard as a rock. Here's some of the valve cover gasket, which is hard as a rock, which we chiseled out. Most of it went everywhere. We'll sweep when we're done. We wipe this off only. Like I said, we'll clean the engine in 2 days from now. Put the spark plug seals on. This prevents the engine oil from going down the spark plug tubes. Okay? When I took it off, they were stuck to here. Got the gasket back on. And gave the valve cover just, well, the inside's clean. We cleaned it, blew it out. On the outside, got a basic wipe down. And that's it. Now we're going to put it on. Okay, guys. Use common sense. There is a torque spec for it. Use a 1/4" ratchet. Don't grip the engine. Palm it. Feel a little resistance, stop. Feel a resistance, stop. And you just walk your way around. On these, you're ideally looking for the metal to just have a little gap. I'm going to say 10 to 15 thousandths. Is that it? You can look up the spec, but if you do that, you're fine. If you keep wailing them down and you start bending the valve cover, you're not getting nowhere. It's just going to cause a leak. So we're just going to go around those one more time very lightly. So I'm letting it sit. The gasket will work its way up. And that's it, and then we'll finish putting it together. Okay, it's running about 15-20 minutes. And there's no oil leaks. I looked around.